everyone, my name is Minami and I'm here to give a presentation for my teacher because he cannot speak. The topic of the presentation is different types of organizational structures. I will talk about these key terms by looking at some diagrams in order to understand them well. This diagram shows the different levels of hierarchy in an organization. There are three levels: top, middle, and bottom. The delegation of authority or command comes from the top of the pyramid to the middle and then to the bottom. Delegation means making someone do something for you. Each level has different responsibilities. For example, the bottom level is responsible for doing tasks for the middle level. Also, the middle level has to do tasks for the top level. This is a typical organizational structure of one firm. The managing director is at the top of the hierarchy. Under the MD, there are directors who are responsible for the different functions of a company, such as production, marketing, finance, administration, and development. Each function has a certain number of workers. For example, there are 5 layers for production. The chain of command starts at the top with the managing director, then through the hierarchy to the bottom layer. The chain of command's purpose is to let workers know who they report to and follow. Span of control is how many workers one person is responsible for. For example, in the finance function, each manager is responsible for 7 workers. This is their span of control. On the next slide, I'll talk about the difference between a tall and a flat hierarchy. The biggest difference is the number of levels in the hierarchy. In the tall hierarchy, there are 7 layers, but in the flat hierarchy, there are only 3 layers. In the tall hierarchy, it takes more time for commands to go down to the bottom layer. The flat hierarchy has fewer layers, so the chain of command is shorter. In this slide, there is an example of a flat organization and a tall organization. The top organizational chart shows that there are 3 layers in the chain of command. The director's span of control is 2 managers. Each manager has a span of control of 12 workers. The second organizational chart has 5 layers in the chain of command. The director has a span of control of 2 managers. Then each manager is responsible for 2 workers in the third layer, and each worker in the third layer has 3 workers who report to him or her. Then workers in the fourth layer are responsible for 3 workers. This slide shows the pyramidal structure in an organization. The management director is on the top, followed by senior management, middle management, and workers. This shows that level of hierarchy in this organization. This diagram of a centralized organizational structure shows the managing director has an important role in running the company. These 5 functions of marketing, R&D, finance, production, and sales support the central position. Each function is responsible to the managing director. This next organizational structure is circular or flat, which means each function is on the same level. Each is equally responsible for running the company. This diagram is missing a middle person, which in the last example was the managing director. They don't have one specific person to report to. This diagram shows how 4 functions collaborate in one organization. Each function has their own responsibility or tasks. But because it is one company, the 4 functions have to work together to run the company. Here is the bibliography that was used for this presentation. Overall, we look at the different types of organizational structures and how and from where decisions are made. I'd like to thank you for listening to my presentation. Do you have any questions?